Hello, friends. It's time for Talk for Dodge, the show that uncovers the stories behind the houses in the heart of our community. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin. And today we are here with Mark Campbell, County Supervisor, amongst a lot of other stuff. But before we talk to Mark, let's do a quick market update.
Market update. We have 120 active listings on our MLS, which is way higher than we've had in a long time.
Pre-COVID, we were at 120. So we're about into a normal market again after 5 years.
Yep, it's been a while. Featured House of the Week, we'll do the one at 1040 Forest Avenue. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it for $995,000?
This is a cool house. It was built with everything you can want in a house. It's brand new. Even like the countertops. You go in and, I'm a texture person sometimes, and like the countertops have a satin finish on them. So they're granite countertops with a satin finish. So you just feel it. It just feels rich. Yeah. It's got triple pane windows, because the gentleman that built it didn't want the wind coming in the windows next to his bedroom when he's laying in bed. The toilet seat goes up automatically.
It waves to you when you walk by it.
It does. It kind of freaks you out the first couple of times.
Oh, hey, look.
It's the basement's completely finished. There's 2 bedrooms downstairs with 2 more bathrooms. It's got a great little rec area.
Beautiful views.
Beautiful views. Underneath the garage is finished, so you got all that extra space. So it sounds like it's only 2,000 square feet, but it's really 5. With the basement, it's a walkout basement. There's a ton of light down there. You don't even know you're in the basement. So it's a really cool house, and we are doing an open house on it this Sunday from 1 to 3. So if you want to come see me, get a cup of coffee, I'll bring some coffee with and some pastries or something good. And come see me on a Sunday, and let's check this house out, because it's something you almost have to see. It's just been staged, so it really showcases what the house can be and what it can look like.
Is it hot coffee or iced coffee?
Hot coffee, because I'm old. Young people drink iced coffee.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Be cold.
Coffee should be hot.
That's leftover coffee.
That's right. Or, the stuff you drink in the afternoon. You don't have a microwave.
Sorry, Abby.
So if you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call. It's a slow market right now, but the interest rates are dropping, and hopefully that makes things happen again.
I think it will. Once the election was over, we got a little bit busier. People kind of started getting at it a little more. And
the phone started ringing again.
Yep, and now we had our first cold snap, and Mark's in the restaurant industry. When you get the first cold snap, that 2 weeks is quiet.
It's very, very quiet. People just kind of get home, get off work, go home, snuggle up, turn that fireplace on, relax.
And real estate's the same way every year. Mm-hmm. After New Year's, we'll start getting busy again.
Yep.
So
their skin gets hard and warm.
Yeah,
grow some extra hair.
You get to the cold weather. You get your winter blood in.
Right now we go outside at 50. We're freezing. Come January, go outside. You'll have shorts on at 50.
Yep.
I know. It's so sad.
Like it's hot.
Yep. Or if you go to the Caribbean or anywhere warm in the winter, and you see the Canadians walking around in shorts at 40 degrees outside, you're like, there's something wrong with them. And then as Iowans, we do it in April.
Yep.
We get it. It just takes us longer.
Takes a little bit longer.
So once again, Mark Campbell's here. And Mark, you are involved in quite a few things. We're showcasing a couple of them today. But first of all, I want to talk about your time as county supervisor and some of the great things you've done as county supervisor, kind of being that not only the cheerleader for Fort Dodge, but kind of being the catalyst behind making stuff happen. Because you always have to have that person or those people on any board that are I'm going to call them the instigators, the ones that have to, hey, let's push some buttons and see if we can make some stuff happen. And that's been you quite historically.
Well, thank you.
And what are some of your favorite things that's happened over the last, 8 years? 8 years.
12.
12.
Yeah, it's been 12 years. And
wow.
And honestly, as you guys know, it takes a team. And we've had an amazing team of supervisors that work together for a long time. And they really built the foundation that we've grown off of, going back to consolidating the Growth Alliance and creating that entity, to the establishment of the Ag Park. We had amazing people working together, Dennis Plautz, Kelly Halstead. The relationships that were built then are coming to fruition now with the announcement of Ligos coming in with CJ Bio. And it's amazing to see how planting the seed, a few years back, now is starting to see all that prosperity and growth coming in, and the new jobs coming in, and the new families coming in. And people don't realize that, we talk a lot about economic development and quality of life projects, but none of that is available. None of that's going to happen if you don't have housing.
Right.
It's kind of that quiet conversation nobody really wants to have. But when you start looking at the small communities, Gowrie, they're very, very fortunate. They had Origin Homes come in to put some houses up, and they're selling. And a couple people said, we've got 2 houses sold, but it's 7 new kids in our school. How cool.
Oh, in a small school district, 7 kids, that's a 2% boost.
Yeah, that's huge. And I wish I knew the exact numbers of the new students in Gowrie, but it's everybody coming together. The small businesses that come along with these companies at the Ag Park that take care of the facilities, and they're not always attributed to that project, but they're still a huge part of it. So.
Right. And a lot of them existed before, and they did little stuff other places, and then all of a sudden they tie into this.
These subcontractors that come in and just do mechanical stuff or electrical stuff. I know out to the Ag Park, Bimrick Electric has people that work full-time there. That is their job. They just get in every day, go there and work. And they're doing maintenance, and it's easier for those big companies to sub it out. And it's great for our small companies that have been here because they get the opportunity to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens quite a bit. I mean, we were talking yesterday, we had a meeting together, and we started a construction company with my cousin Matt, and it's been kind of cool because he's worked into some of these bigger companies now, and they just want to be able to sub it out. They have people that can do it, but it's easier to say, hey, Matt, go get this done.
Well, and sometimes it's not what they do great. These companies are in business for something else, and they might not want to take care of the maintenance, and that's not their specialty. So they can find somebody whose passion it is and know that it's getting done right, and they can just take care of it that way.
Yep, it works out really well. So 12 years ago, who was on the council with you?
12 years ago, Bob Singer, Clark Fletcher, Keith Dinklaw, myself. Who am I forgetting? That's terrible.
That is. I was just trying to. I had Singer and Dinklaw.
Yeah. Oh, God,
I forgot about Clark.
That's embarrassing. Oh, the guy is incredible. What he has done for the county back then that really gave us the ability now. The quality of life project down on the river.
We donated the canoe.
Yeah, the canoe, the conservation center, and everything he did back then. Keith Dinklaw, exact same thing. The guy, those are the 2 that I really look at, and Bob Singer that really had foresight of, hey, we need to get these things in place. So we have an opportunity to grow. The relationships that they built, and I was able to learn from with not just other counties around us, but with the state and other areas. Yeah.
And talk about the synergy that we have in Fort Dodge that other communities don't. We talk about the Growth Alliance, the City Council, the County Supervisors, all those different entities. Other communities don't have that. And can you talk a little bit about that? And
we're fortunate. The city and the county meets every other week, sit down, go over a list of projects that are going on. Sometimes it's just a roast of what's going on. And, but we have those relationships in place. So when there are challenges or there are things to celebrate, which, let's face it, we don't do enough of that. We don't brag enough about the good things that are going on here. We don't have to wonder who to call to find out something because we meet with them every other week. Whether it's a local project here or a county out in the county project, we work with all the leaders ahead of time to make sure that when a project comes forward, we can get everybody in the room to really put our best foot forward. And unfortunately, in some other counties across the state, that doesn't happen. The state has had other counties and cities come and visit with us to see how we do it. And it was amazing to us that we're like, what do you mean you have department head meetings? You guys don't get together and talk. That's no, we do it all the time. Yeah.
It's funny when you say the state makes them, because I can just imagine Governor Redard's calling like, you get your butt to Fort Dodge and you see what they're doing and you figure this out.
Yeah, and we've had people that have started in their careers here go off to other parts of the state and become city managers or county managers, city managers or managers of other parts of the city. That has called and said, hey, can we bring a group of people up and see what you guys are doing so I can show my coworkers how you guys do it? Not that we do it perfect all the time, but we're willing to set and get better with every time we meet, just like last night's meeting.
Oh, yeah. And if you go back 12 years, it was before the Growth Alliance. The Growth Alliance was the
Merrill Leffler.
Yeah.
Sorry, Merrill. Why can I not think of it?
That's the other one, yeah. But it was completely split between the business development and the city and the county. And they would almost fight. So one of them would offer somebody something, then the other one would offer him something else. And they would go back and forth and compete within the county. And when we created the Growth Alliance, it took that away. And now we have one person which says, okay, this is our best foot forward. instead of having all these different things. And whose idea was that? Is that something somebody stole from somebody else? Or
I mean, obviously I came into it like it's second or third year, but industry came forward and said, hey guys, we're competing with ourselves. You just hired our CEO away. Now we've got a void. So we're going to hire somebody else's away. So industry came forward. And I mean, look at the success we've had.
Oh, it's unreal.
When you're arguing with other entities, nothing gets done.
Especially within yourself. It's all Webster County.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what a lot of people didn't realize is when we are courting a business to come here, we're not just competing with neighboring counties or even neighboring states. I like to tell everybody, when we finally did get CJ Bio, it was between Webster County, Iowa and Malaysia.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm glad it came here. That's been a great addition.
They are absolutely amazing. I mean, what a cool company, and what they do for the community quietly. I mean, so many things get done. I don't know. I'm sure you guys, when you're walking the trails, you walk through a park and all of a sudden you see a group of CJ employees out there cleaning the park. Or some event somewhere else going on, and all of a sudden there's a group of CJ employees or Cargill employees out helping out.
Yeah.
I'm down in Gowrie doing things. There's a group of Poet employees down there helping out. It's absolutely amazing.
They used to do the Kennedy at Lights and have the human nativity scene.
Oh, really?
It was like this cold outside.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That was like one of the first couple of years. And I was like, we can't find the volunteers to do that anymore when it's -2 degrees in December.
Well, I went to the Iowa State game Saturday, about froze. I can't imagine sitting there.
And when you think about these companies and who they have for leadership, I mean, you look at Sydney at Cargill, Luke, CJ Bio, what amazing leaders they have. And the teams they've built, no wonder they are prospering in the fashion they are.
Yeah.
You almost have to do well. Just they are great people.
Oh, the success in leadership is incredible.
So just for the common listener that doesn't know how government works, what is the county supervisor's main job or priority?
Main role responsibilities is the county budget. We put that together. We work with all the department heads. What a lot of people don't realize in Webster County, that's 17 different departments, ranging from secondary roads to veterans assistance, public health, and we've been doing that over the last couple of days. The department heads come in, present their budget, and then here in the next week or two, we'll start looking at revenue estimates and see what we can do in respects to how much is put into secondary roads and how many bridges we can replace. We have a huge project coming up in Lehigh. Estimates started out a few years ago when they first started looking at it, $3-4 million. I think Jamie said yesterday in his presentation it's up to $9 million.
Wow.
So we've anticipated these expenses coming because we have capital improvement plans that are put in place. And Merrill was a very good one about the buildings downtown that the county owns. He had a capital improvement plan in there, and he met with people every year and said, all right, well, what do you need to do? What has to be done to these buildings to keep them current? Jamie Joel's our county engineer, does the exact same thing with not only the secondary road equipment, but all the bridges and structures. So we knew that was coming, and we started putting money away for it every single year. So we have the money sitting there. We don't have to go out and bond to do some of these major projects. Not saying we couldn't.
We appreciate you not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
As a taxpayer, that's awesome.
Yeah. Jamie did a FEMA project a few years ago, and we were able to do the project, and our bids came in much lower than anticipated, much lower than the grant that we received for it. So he reached out to them and said, all right, we have leftover dollars. What do we do? And FEMA's like, buy equipment.
Yeah. Do something.
He's like, what? And they're like, you can buy equipment. So we bought 10 new dump trucks. The planning by the department heads that we have, I know I've taken it for granted at times, but the amount of work that they put into those budgets and their departments, we've got the best of the best.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
That's a good explanation.
And using tax dollars and grant dollars, appropriately. And we talked a little bit, balancing the budget.
Yeah.
Making, it's not legally, you have to have a balanced budget.
And people see there's an article in the paper that, our revenues were X and our expenses were more. Well, that's because we have built up our surpluses to pay for those big projects. So we might only bring in X million dollars because we're trying to get our levies as low as possible because we've already built up and planned for some of these big projects. So we transfer those funds out. Or we might receive a grant this year that we don't spend all those dollars. So it goes to reserves and we pull them out next year. It's just like a savings account at home.
Well, and sometimes,
Nice.
you have expenses, you approve it, but that money doesn't get spent for 2 or 3 years. So you have to have the money there. So the budget this year balances, even though it doesn't look like it in the checking account. And
Correct. And a lot of the things in the budget are just establishing the authority for that department head to spend those dollars.
Yep.
And then are there 5 supervisors?
Yep.
And there's always 5?
Yes. What in Webster? The other counties have 3. There's a lot of counties that have 3.
I saw a thing on the news. Dallas County has 3, but they're trying to go to 5 because it's the largest growing county in the state, and that was a big deal.
Correct.
So then, like, all 5 just have to agree, or 3 of the
Is there a
5?
majority or super
Simple
majority?
Majority vote?
Simple majority vote. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So I'm going back to basics here.
And I
No,
think with
that's all right.
good staff members, and the city, I remember years ago at the city, there was always 1 or 2 nay votes on absolutely everything. And then once David Fierk and once the staff actually started putting these things together ahead of time and communicating and putting it all out there, it really cut down. It seems like you go to a council meeting now, it's all consent agenda and yeses, but there's a lot of work that goes
the amount of work that goes on ahead
There
of
were
time.
no's 3 months ago.
Right.
And through education and learning.
It's all about education and getting as much accurate information out there because, as we all know, sometimes people, and myself included, hear what I want to hear. So, no, it's about education. And one of the great things the city did years ago was bring in a city manager. And that conversation has been going on at the county now for a couple of years about what would it take to maybe change the county form of government and bring in a county manager.
Oh, yeah.
To add some consistency and stability to economic projects. So, we don't want our industry to ever be worried that every 2 years, hey, the direction of the Board of Supervisors could change. So what do we need to do? What conversations need to be in place? Is it a good fit or not?
Can you pass that in the next month?
That's a long process.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah. And that's something, honestly, that will have to be, again, very similar to the Growth Alliance. It's going to have to be citizen and industry driven.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you have to have the approval from everybody. You can't change a form of government without taking it to everyone and
Goes to
saying,
a
this
vote.
is why we're doing it.
Yep, goes to a vote, just like we have a vote coming up on EMS this spring. So let everybody have the opportunity to have a conversation.
Can we talk about that for just a second?
Sure.
Because I was talking to Luke and Cameron. They were at the Iowa State game on Saturday, and of course I had to give them both a little bit of crap for signing up for one more board that they probably don't have time for.
Yep.
And so right now, that is not a fire and rescue. Ambulance is not an essential service, meaning volunteer fire departments throughout the county are responsible for their own area. But it's getting harder and harder, just like any other service organization, to find these volunteers.
Correct.
So what the county wants to do is making an essential service so we can use tax dollars, property tax dollars, to put another fire station on the other side of Fort Dodge, or to get these people out and pay people to do this.
Ambulance. So
Just
fire
ambulance.
is currently funded through township trustees.
Okay.
Can be funded that way, but ambulance services are not. And we have already declared it an essential service, which is the first step in the process of letting it go to the voters to create a separate levy.
Okay.
Yep.
And the levy was like, what, $1,000 or
75 cents
75 cents per
per
thousand?
thousand. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not even that big of a, you can go back to the water park. It's a Happy Meal.
It's yeah.
But it is such
any
an
more Happy Meals getting expensive.
Oh, yeah, I know.
that's
But right
pretty
now, if somebody somebody has a heart attack
Right.
on the very, let's say, north side of Webster County,
Yeah.
what is the response rate? Do you?
I know that Matt Price from the city of Fort Dodge said a little over 20 minutes. And what people don't realize is our volunteers in the city of Fort Dodge work so incredibly well together that physically, if there is an ambulance coming from Gowrie, Fort Dodge dispatches somebody, they meet on the highway, switch drivers, and keep going.
Wow.
When I've explained that to other people, they're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fort Dodge has been an amazing partner to all of our EMS, and hopefully this levy conversation continues that partnership. I know they want to do an ambulance garage dispatch, I think west side of town.
Somewhere, just so they can get places faster, which makes sense. We have one on the east
Absolutely.
side, get one on the west side.
Oh, yeah. And the planning that's going on in Dayton right now with Dan Hansen down there and getting more people to volunteer. They have the right people in the right place for this conversation to be had.
Because I think about it all the time. Grandma had a farm by Calendar, and when they were tearing everything down, Uncle Raleigh had a heart attack. And thank God the Calendar Fire Department's a Saturday, so everybody was there, so somebody responded right away. And I thank him for that every time I see him. But had it been a Tuesday afternoon,
Right.
and everybody was at work, you're looking at 15, 20 minutes to get somebody out there. He would have never survived a heart attack for 15,
Correct.
20 minutes. And it really is a life or death decision.
Oh, it is. It is. And I said it early on, and believe me, I stole it from somebody else, but where you live should not decide if you live.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
That's a simple concept.
Yeah. And it's not a big price tag.
and a scary one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have family members that wouldn't have survived if they,
Yep.
had it not been a Saturday afternoon.
And we have some of the most dedicated volunteers out there doing their absolute best. So that is so
Being
cool.
a volunteer fire department is not just I'm going to show up for a fire every once in a while. It's a lifestyle.
The amount of training they have to go through and the equipment that they have to purchase and everything else. So yeah, it definitely is a lifestyle.
They work hard at it. All right, so
Let's talk Amigos.
I was just going to say that.
And when I think Amigos, and you talk Fort Dodge and what it does for Fort Dodge, it's another style of living. I see the volleyball during the summer and how big that is. You got the bikes out there, and it's a thing that people go and do.
Yeah, we're very proud to be a destination here in Fort Dodge, and absolutely incredible customers. I mean, I mean, as being in the business, we always tell people they have more customers that have keys to that place than employees. But it's going on our 27th year, and I couldn't be prouder of the people we have. Not only our team, but the people that come every single day and share their time with us, from coffee in the morning to lunch to volleyball. Obviously, the trail system's right there, and the mountain biking now has become even bigger. On the weekends, we have people coming from all over the state to ride over there.
That's one thing I haven't done
Sunday
yet.
Fun Day. Oh, I'll take you out. It's a blast. Absolutely love it.
Will my e-bike work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just bring a helmet.
Todd never gets tired.
Oh, heck no. And I got a helmet.
He could go all day long on his bike.
I'll bring the Harley. We can do that all day long.
No, but it is, again, kind of going back to, that whole Midwest modest. We don't brag about enough of things that we have in Fort Dodge. And I am proud to say Amigos is a big part of that. But we don't brag about the amazing people that do things behind the scenes to get us where we are.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to focus on, did you see what was on Channel 8? What happened in Fort Dodge?
Yeah.
It's neat that we're starting to get relationships, and I am proud to say Nikki Conrad's been very, very intricate in getting those news stations up here for great things. We're very fortunate. A employee of the Messenger now works down at the Des Moines TV station, who is very, very interested in saying, hey, there's good things going on up here. Let's get that in the paper. And there has been a lot more better press. 2 weeks ago, when Waterloo announced their mall redevelopment, I mean, it's huge to hear we want to be like Fort Dodge.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, absolutely incredible to hear we want to be like Fort Dodge coming from another community.
Yep.
Especially Waterloo, Cedar Falls, that area.
Exactly.
And they're like, wow, really? We're big time.
Or when Dunham's opened up, for days, there's lines out the door. I mean, that is huge.
There's a 45-minute line on Black Friday.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
Jenny and I drove
I
separate.
had a buddy in
It's
line for an hour and a half.
I go, can
For
I
a golf club.
go? And she's like, yeah, you can go. I was like, yes.
We have amazing things going on here. But again, we've all grown up with that Midwest modest, and we don't brag. And we need to get that story out about the incredible things going on in Webster County and around here, because if we don't tell our story, somebody else is, and we've let that happen for too long.
Yeah. We really need to get it out there that we're not what everybody remembers, 25, 30 years ago, 27 years ago. Amigos was a whole different place.
It was, a lot of people don't know. I bought that with Joe Pete originally, and then bought it from Joe a couple of years later. And he and I did quite a few things around the community throughout the years. So been very blessed since then. You think back to the days of the packing plants that used to be down there to where it is today.
It smells much better now.
Yeah. Well,
You remember that? Going down by the bridge by the hospital, all you could smell was packing plant.
Oh, you had IBP on one side and Hormel on the other, but the prosperity that it brought our area is, it still, that was one of the foundations that got us where we are today.
It took us 25 years to get back to where we feel like we're winning again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's awesome what you're doing with Amigos. I have last year on the motorcycle, I met a friend that was coming through Des Moines with his group of people, and every week or every month they like to go somewhere, and they picked Amigos because on a Wednesday that they could all go for a bike ride too. And
every year
I thought that was kind of cool.
We get the Des Moines Porsche Club drives up every year on a Saturday. I'm like, that's awesome, and the uniqueness that we have, and what a lot of people don't know also is the camaraderie that we have as business owners, whether it's the coffee shops with Abby or Stella, or Abby at Stella's, or Salty Sue's with Jackie, you guys. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had call Michael Payne because we're out of something, and or he calls me, and how everybody does work together. I mean, we truly have an amazing environment for small businesses.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, again, that goes back to our meeting last night of how do we figure out a way to foster more small businesses? How do we figure out a way to start filling in some of the gaps in our main street? And not just Fort Dodge. And I love that somebody last night besides me brought up, well, Gowrie's got a few places. How do we help them fill them in? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there's so many opportunities here.
There are.
I have a really good friend that's an accountant, and he worked in a cubicle in Des Moines before he came here. And he bought an accounting firm here 8 years ago. And we were talking the other day. We talk every day. And he goes, I can't believe the opportunity here for professional business. He goes, in Des Moines, I would be working in a cubicle. Here, I not only own one accounting firm, but I think he's up to 6. And they're all over the northwest side of the state. And there's people, as a professional, if you just want to get out of Des Moines and work in these smaller 25, 30,000 people communities, what an opportunity there is, whether you're an accountant, an eye doctor, a dentist. You can come up here and be a rock star.
Yep.
Or you can sit in Des Moines and, work in a cubicle, work for somebody else, and go to your, $400,000 house.
We laugh when we talk to some of the industry that's going to, have talked about moving here. Lygos is a great conversation. Their employees, coming here. How much is my house payment?
Yeah.
And kind of give them an idea what the average house payment is here. They're like, my rent on the East Coast is more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not even a nice house.
No. And the funny part is, and I just drove across town in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
and I was a little mad because I got stopped at a stoplight.
Exactly. And it is fun to hear people talk about traffic in Fort Dodge.
Oh, yeah. There's none.
That's yeah.
It is funny.
It's hilarious. Yeah. I have a client that's from California, and they were talking to their sibling on the phone and said, oh, my gosh, guys, I didn't even realize that it only takes us 10 minutes to get to anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about traffic, and they're like, well, yeah, you have to honk your horn at red lights. And they're like, I haven't heard a horn honk in 3 years.
Well, we were talking about, some of the new industry, new businesses coming out to the mall area. And they're like, oh, but the traffic that's going to bring. I'm like, that's a bad thing?
No.
And it's neat to be going back to some of these businesses out there and seeing the license plates from out of counties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The amount of county. I complimented Todd last night and said, it's cool to go through Fort Frenzy when I'm getting a pizza from Godfather's and see all these license plates from Story, from Hamilton, from Boone. Mm-hmm. The number of people that come from other counties up here.
Yep.
And I mean, it's incredible.
It's kind of a feather in the cap to say, we are doing a lot of things right. And it's not just Fort Frenzy. I mean,
ATV
Target,
park.
Yeah, all that stuff there. The ATV park, that's so cool you guys did that.
Brainchild, yeah. I mean, you think how many years that took. Helen Miller was a huge part of that, getting legislation changed. And that goes back to the relationships that were developed back then that helped us down the road. So, yeah.
When Matt Cosgrove was on here, I had to go on and on about I have a Jeep Wrangler, and we really need a Jeep Wrangler trail because I know people that'll drive 150, 200, 300 miles just to go over a trail. There may be a
conversation going on about that. So
if I need to help with that, I told him the same thing. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, we're very excited about that conversation. Again, started with Keith Dinklaw and a relationship he had with this industry and has continued since then. So, yeah.
It's fun.
It is. And again, I think because we're here, myself included, sometimes take for granted all the opportunities that we have.
And you forget about all the stuff past that has been put in place that we can get to where we are now. Because, you talked about Helen Miller, and I loved Helen, and Dr. Miller was so great. I got to know him so well over the years, and just fun. Great people. But them laying that foundation 10, 15, 20 years ago, leading up us up to what it is today.
Had they not done certain things back then, we obviously couldn't be doing what we're doing now. And to have the people that have taken that and built off of it, Representative Miller and Senator Kreinbrink, Senator Green. I mean, the things that they have done, to get industry here to help us, mall project. We couldn't do any of this without our partners.
And even at the national level, they've been working hard there to help bring in, even more people to the ag park that needs that national attention. That, it might be a 10-year project, but it's them laying the foundation now for stuff that could happen 5, 10, 20 years from now. That, it all ties into that.
It does. And, we've been very fortunate. Some of the companies, Cargill being a privately held company, they're able to do things much quicker than a publicly held company that might have to take projects to the board and have 5, 8, 10 years of timeline. Mm-hmm. So CJ Bio, another great, as we said, great company, and they're able to do things much quicker. So,
yep. Yeah, Jordan and I talk about that with and Nate. With Fort Frenzy, it's kind of an albatross because there's 15 different positions for everything and all this. And Shiny Top has a cook, a server, a bartender, and Nate. And it's so much easier to get stuff done in that smaller venue than it is something big. And same with publicly traded versus private. It's just, okay, let's make a decision and go versus let's talk about it with all our stockholders for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about a little bit is the Iowa Gaming Commission.
Yeah.
What you were assigned to that by the governor.
Yeah.
And submitted, I'm sure, an application to get there.
Correct.
What is that all about? What does it do? I know nothing about it, so this is
it's one of the coolest commissions I'm on. Absolutely love the position. I am vice chair for the second year in a row. We have 5 commissioners that regulate gaming across the state of Iowa, not only casino, slot, table games, but horse racing. We have 19 state licensed casinos for tribal casinos, and the tribal are on their own. We do nothing with them. We're the 15th largest gaming state.
Really?
And our whole job is basically the integrity of gaming in Iowa. We work with all the casino GMs and owners, and believe me, I truly think we have the best of the best. We have some of, I can't even say, not just first class, but we're talking diamond casinos. When you truly go to an elite property like Riverside, you walk into that property and feel like you're in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And they are just absolutely incredible with what they do. So our job is to work with them. And obviously, like I said, the integrity of gaming. But also right now we're going through a process. A community has voted and wants to apply for a license. So we will sit down and look at that application, and we just went through public comment over in Cedar Rapids, and now we're waiting for some studies to come back to see if there's a market over there, and then we have to make a decision, and we'll see where it goes from there. During that time frame, we have a group of people that would like to see a moratorium with no casinos, which has absolutely nothing to do with us. That's a legislative process, and we're a commission-based process. So it's Cedar Rapids' third time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they know it's a challenge because there are 19 casinos in the state. So we're going to look at it, see where it goes, and see what we can do. But we're very fortunate to have gaming in Iowa, and with new markets coming on the East Coast and West Coast of Iowa, whether it's Illinois or Nebraska, it's up to our commission to make sure that those casinos that we currently have, are staying the best of the best. That's reinvestment. That is making sure their securities are in place. So when people go there, they're comfortable. It's making sure that their employees are trained properly, no minors on the floors, things like that. And I can truly say in Iowa, we have the best of the best. So,
Awesome. And I know Fort Dodge has applied several times.
Yeah, I think a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're approved. So just a little plug for the city. Just go ahead and,
You have a referendum. Yeah, that's correct.
Let's get that done.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be a true
I'd
Fort
rather
Dodger
watch some
if I
horse
did.
racing.
Yeah, well, we're down to one. And that's the unique thing about Prairie Meadows is technically a racino. They have to have horse racing to have their gambling license.
Okay.
That's good.
So, yep. And Prairie Meadows and Dubuque are I believe the last two are the only two. No, Dubuque is one of two nonprofit casinos. Yeah, Prairie Meadows is too. Yeah, both of them are. And Prairie Meadows is a great example. What a lot of people don't realize, they give away. And Iowa has a unique structure that the casino itself never owns the license. They have to partner with a nonprofit organization called a QSO. And that QSO gets a certain percentage of that gaming revenue to give away, and they have to give it away. Prairie Meadows is very similar to that. They do it through a board since it's technically owned by Polk County. And Prairie Meadows, take a guess. What do you think they give away a week?
A week?
Yeah.
Man.
$250,000.
$1 million a week.
Whoa.
A week.
$1 million.
Wow.
They are incredibly generous, and they do an excellent job. Our casinos around here, even though we don't have a casino in Webster County, we receive gaming revenue because we're a contiguous and a non-contiguous county. So we get money that comes through our United Way Foundation, and then they're able to divvy it up however they want.
Are people losing that much money every month?
Winning.
Every week?
Winning. Yeah.
The taxpayer is winning that much every week. Is that a better way
to
to
go
put
to
it?
the casino and buy some bridges for the county?
There you go.
There you go. But no, yeah, it's one of the coolest commissions I'm on, and we have a great group and an incredible staff out of Des Moines that work incredibly hard. And like I said, it's all based on the integrity of gaming in Iowa.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking time to be here today. It's been
Thanks.
awesome and informative. And
Greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
that's a wrap at today's episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Stay connected with us on social media and join us next time as we continue exploring Fort Dodge's stories through the lens of two lifelong Dodgers. I'm Jeremiah Condon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and this is Talk Fort Dodge.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.